All right. What about this story is similar to the story that we read last week?
not people.
No. The story we read last week, the fairy tale. How is this fairy tale or how is this fable and the fairy tale a little bit similar?
Ending of the story is expected.
Yeah, the ending of the story is ironic, right? It's the opposite of what we would expect, right? So there's an unexpected ending here. We call that situational irony. Now, do you need to know the word situational irony? Sure. Because we have different kinds of irony. We have situational irony, we have dramatic irony, and we have verbal irony. Situational irony is like this, where the action, the situation becomes opposite what you expect, or different from what you expect. Okay? Situational irony. Okay. You will have another one of these tomorrow. Pay attention to these fables. It will be important later. Okay? All right. Cool. Do me a favor, now go ahead and pass those forward. And when you've done that, go ahead and then pull out your story. All right. The first thing I want to talk about very briefly is superficiality. Thank you so much. Superficiality. What is superficiality? Anybody have an idea? No, Miss Holly. That is not superficiality. That is not superficiality. What is superficiality? If someone says, you are so superficial, is it a compliment or is it an insult? It's an insult, yes. But the question is, what kind of insult is it? Super's great, right? Superman, I'm a super soccer player, right? But superficial, think of the word face. Face. When you see a person's face, do you see inside of them? Do you see their spirit? Do you see whether they love God or they don't love God? No. A superficial person is only about outside things. They're only about how their face looks, how their clothing looks, how beautiful the things are around them. And then if you ask them an important question, like, what do you think of the current president and his policy about immigration? And the person's like, I don't know. It's like, maybe bad, but I don't know, maybe it's good. I didn't think about it. Who is the best example of superficial in the movies? There's a movie that came out last year. Similar color.
Spider-Man.
No. Spider-Man's not superficial. He's so deep. No. There's a movie you probably didn't see. You probably didn't see this movie. Did you guys ever hear of the movie Barbie? Barbie. Yeah. Barbie is a superficial girl. She's only about clothes and looking really nice and having beautiful long blonde hair, right? That's superficial. Do you guys, in your life, do you know of any superficial people? Yes? Yeah. I've known a few superficial people in my life. But just because you act superficial on the outside does not always mean you are superficial, right? But in this story, who is superficial? The princess is superficial. Can anyone give me an example of why she would be superficial? Okay, just because you're pretty doesn't make you superficial. That would not make her superficial. What's something that would make her superficial? Something she does or says that shows that she is superficial.
She took Prince and most true.
Yeah, she picks the prince who has the biggest money, the most money, right? So he has that advantage. So he's beautiful, he's rich, can give her the things that she wants, right? There are other examples of superficiality in the story, but we'll ask you about those a little bit later. Also, too, before we go on and talk about irony and do irony stuff, I want to ask you guys about showing versus telling. Okay? You need to know this too, because for what you're going to do later this week. Showing versus telling. If I say, John is tired, am I showing you that or am I telling you that? Telling. What would be a way to show John is tired?
You take directly use it.
Yeah, how would you indirectly show John is tired? You'd show John maybe asleep, or you would show John yawning. John yawned and rubbed his eyes. If you read that, John yawned and rubbed his eyes, what do you think about John? He's sleepy. He's tired, right? Which is a better image in your head? Yeah, John yawning and rubbing his eyes, right? In this story, we have good examples of that, right? You guys, again, will need that later this week. Okay, so just be prepared for it. Okay? It's a simple concept, but it's sometimes hard to do. Okay. We're going to do some questions now about irony, because irony is a difficult subject to understand sometimes. Because irony can sometimes trick you. Gio, be careful when you pass the paper back. The camera is there. Ronaldo put his head on the table, and his eyes closed slowly and sadly. I showed the world you were tired and sleepy.
It is telling.
That was showing. That was showing. Now I'm telling. All right. For the questions that you answered last night, I will go over those later. I'll go over them later. I want to check and see how you did first, and then we'll go over them together. What I would like to do right now, though, is have you guys put your name on the top of this paper in LA format, and then I want us to go over some questions and look for irony. Okay. All right, can I get someone to read, please? What's your name? But loud, loud, super loud.
Language typical fairy tale, such as similes of beauty to describe the setting of the story in a far country.
So remember, the way you use a parody is you use the language of the genre, right? So he was using the language of the fairy tale, right? Prettiest princess in the world, once upon a time, all that language was similar. However, there was something, and he says example, however, there's something that interrupts that. There's something that doesn't belong there. And that makes it for an ironic twist. It makes it irony. Look in the story there and find what example makes the description ironic. In lines 1 to 5 somewhere. Yeah, just in lines 1 to 5. No, not this one, that's okay. In lines 1 to 5, find something that doesn't fit the fairy tale language. No, Billy, take out your story. Lines 1 to 5. Find something ironic. Find some language that doesn't fit. Hold on, let's see if somebody else can get it. I'm pretty sure you probably got it. But if I don't give other people a chance, in fact, I'll just choose someone. Christine. Some language between lines 1 to 5 where it doesn't fit the language of in a far country, once upon a time. Something in lines 1 to 5 does not fit. And that makes it ironic. That makes it an irony because it's something you don't expect there. What language is it? What words are there?
Mr. Hudgens.
No, Mr. Hudgens is not in lines 1 to 5. Yes, ma'am. Was there a question? Meaning of word? Sure.
What is in line 5? What is nursery mean?
Nursery.
Nursery.
Nursery. That's where babies live. That's the baby room. There's a baby bed, baby toys, and nursery. Mm-hmm. Say again. A king? Nope. Kings are definitely fairy tale language, right? Kings are definitely fairy tale language. All right, Joshua, go ahead and tell us. What do you think?
Cartier's window.
Cartier window, right? What is Cartier?
Ring.
Jewelry, right? Ladies, you know Cartier. When you go to a big department store, right? There's Gucci, there's Cartier, there's Levi's, there's Chanel, there we go, Chanel, okay. Yeah, I don't know many luxury brands. All right, but yeah, Chanel, Gucci, Cartier, what else?
Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton, right, okay. Balenciaga, right, okay, there we go, there's another one, right? Does that belong in a fairy tale? No, it doesn't. It feels strange in there, right? It doesn't belong. So we would think of it as being ironic. We think of it as being ironic. Okay? Does everybody understand that idea?
Yeah.
Yeah? Does anybody not understand why Cartier is ironic? Because it looks strange there, right? It looks strange. Okay. Now the next one I will want you to write down. Let's do this. You can scoot over with the person next to you.
Next.
Studies we should write or answer.
Not for that one. For this one, lines 30 to 35, which reference is ironic? What pattern does Thurber again use to surprise readers with the unexpected humor of his irony? This one, you don't need to write the question down, not yet, but you can work with a partner. Take 3 or 4 minutes to find line 30 to 35. and find the answer.
네.
Yes.
뭐 좋아해?
It's bleeding. Okay, my finger is bleeding. I'll grab you a bandage. 32, 35. Again, strange language. Okay. You don't need to write the question down, but I would like you to write down the answer. Fine part.
When you
Scoop
see
it
a
out.
사극 and there's 상장하다 현대차
Why? Why?
What?
This one should be easier to find.
Yes.
Don't honk my camera.
Find it, right?
Yeah, write down the answer this time.
This time. Just the answer?
Just the answer this time.
Okay.
Yeah, just the answer.
There's no title.
Not the title. Just give question 2, answer. You write it. Yeah, that's fine. That's what I gave you the paper for, is write down the answer.
You sure did.
Yes. Let's continue. What is the irony in lines 30 to 35? Yeah.
Strongest answer.
Raise a hand, raise a hand.
Oh, yeah.
Leo.
Strongest answer.
Strongest and handsomest. No.
I say no.
That's totally wrong. That's the most wrong thing I ever heard in
Oh,
my whole
아니네.
life. Alright.
This is my real opinion.
I don't want your real
Really,
opinion.
really.
I'm happy to hear your wrong
My
opinion.
original.
Gio.
Server added a poor princess story to make the story more iconic.
Ah, poor
Oh,
prince.
really?
No.
Oh.
Wrong. Nice thinking. We're not looking for things, guys. We're not looking for things that fit in the story, because that's normal. That's the fairy tale. What we're looking for things that don't fit into the story. Yebi.
In upper animal smoke in basket with Mika
Micah.
and
Feldspar. Great job, but it's also wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, yeah, give it a try. Mice. Finally, also wrong. Archaic. Guys, look at the language. What is not from a fairy tale in lines 30 to 35? Alice.
Mining engineers.
Thank you. Yes, mining engineer. Mining engineer. They don't have engineers back in fairy tale time. You have people like King Arthur, right? You have people like King Arthur, not a mining engineer. Mining engineers are kind of a scientist, right? Come on. Okay. Let's try one more. This time, write down the question and the answer. Okay.
This one is no topic. in ML.
No. Just write down irony life 36 to 50. What makes it event? Makes the princess's final choice ironic. Explain.
We also have to write irony like.
I think that'd be a great idea.
뭐?
Okay? Oh, there. Here. Just line irony lines 36 to 50. Yeah, or just you don't have to put it in the title. It's just it's right here on the top, so we understand where you are. Just put it on the. Just make it like this. Irony. Mhm. Bless you. Okay, so what events make the princess's final choice ironic? What does she do that makes her final choice seem ironic? Well, take another minute, let some other people work on it. So you guys are a little bit faster, so I'm a little bit slower, so we'll give you a chance. Give you all a chance. Yep, write the answer. And then of course explain means what? You can do it out there. I'll keep kicking it, that's all. It's just fun to kick it. It's something to do, except other than walk back and forth. All right. So, what do you think? What events make the princess's final choice ironic? Wendy.
Platinum and sapphire jewelry.
No. 많이 거든요. Okay.
일단 아이는 너무 찬스 너무 찬스 real answer.
Ronaldo.
Okay.
Better be good.
Okay. In line 37,
Yep.
she examined it with great interest and squealed with delight
Squeal.
with delight for all her life. She had been coated with precious stone and with priceless metal, but she had never seen tin before or mica.
Feldspar.
Or
Feldspar.
Feldspar.
Feldspar. Good.
Or hornblende.
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 Okay. Perfect. Yes. Exactly right. Okay. So she squeals. She sees the little pieces of rocks, basically, and she squeals. She's like that. Because she'd never seen it before. Why has she never seen it before? She's too rich. She gets all of these amazing presents all the time, right? So she sees this stuff coming from this really handsome prince. So what are we thinking? As a reader, if we're reading a fairy tale, what are we thinking? She likes the poor prince, right? Even though he's poor, it doesn't matter. Love conquers everything, right? That's what we're thinking. All right? So, how does that make the final choice ironic? Why? Explain why it makes it ironic.
Everyone expected that she was just an positively sees the tin box, but finally she didn't choose the tin box. Instead, she selected the other precious. So this may go away from the reader's expectation. So this is ironic.
Right. So, at the end of the story, she chooses one of the rich princes, right? And that ruins the fairy tale, right? That spoils the whole idea of the fairy tale, right? That's what makes her looking, or the whole situation ironic. Okay, that's why it's ironic. Okay, all right. Okay, we're gonna do one more. Are you guys beginning to understand the idea of irony, though? I hope. All right, copy down, answer.
Mr. Rogers,
네.
what is moral means?
Moral?
Yes.
Okay. The moral is the lesson of the story. In a fairy tale, there's the theme or the main idea is usually something about behaving properly in the world, or some wisdom about behaving properly in the world. And so the moral of the story is, related to that.
Why the world? Moral is not like.
Moral is like the theme or the main idea. Think of it that way. Yeah, kind of like the lesson.
Moral, is it moral good?
I don't know the Korean word. But the moral is at the bottom of the page, right?
You thought that the princess would choose the right for the king or prince, but the ending was different. So
Okay.
So don't you think that always story will end up ending?
So what do you guys think? The story's final events. What are the story's final events in lines 51 to 53?
Well, princess marries a rich prince.
And got pearls thrown all over her and things, right? How is that may be ironic. How could that be ironic, perhaps? We know that she chose the rich prince, right?
Yeah.
We expected the poor prince. We kind of wanted the poor prince, right? So when she chooses the rich prince, what do we kind of expect to happen?
Marry.
Don't we expect something bad to happen?
Ah.
As a result, we're like, she married the rich prince, she was greedy, so she should be punished somehow, right? That's what a normal fairy tale would do. A normal fairy tale would have you punish the princess for being superficial.
Yeah.
But does it punish her? No. They have a grand wedding and everything's beautiful and pearls are everywhere. How many pearls?
100,000.
100,000 pearls, right? So many pearls, right? So, okay, and so the moral of the story, right? So how is that ironic? Hmm?
This is like ironic because many people think that the princess will choose the poor prince, but she actually chose the rich prince. So the other one says that the story does not end always happy. So write down that I would rather have a bunch of aluminum suitcases and a diamond.
Right. So the idea that the moral is the opposite of what a normal fairy tale moral would be. Right? A normal fairy tale moral would be, don't always believe that poor princes would make poor husbands. Something like that, right? That would be a normal moral to the story. Because the normal story, the poor prince would marry the princess. And they would live happily ever after, right? And the moral would be, don't think poor princes make poor husbands. That would be the moral of the story. But in this story, it's all turned around, right? It's all switched. And so the moral is, are you stupid? Why did you think the princess would choose the poor guy? That's not the real world, right?
Real world.
Yeah, the real world, this world, right? Okay, so it's ironic for that reason. Okay, all right. Are there any questions? Are there any questions about irony? Perhaps it's not totally clear to you. Perhaps you don't see it super easily just yet. But you will want to be comfortable with it by tomorrow. Tomorrow, you will start writing either a fairy tale or a fable. But you're going to make it like a parody. Yes. So, while you're thinking tonight about what you might write, you're going to write a parody. Okay. So keep this paper, and on the back, write down any notes that you want to take. Okay? You're going to write a parody about either a fable or a fairy tale. Oops. You want to try to find some way to put a Christian idea, a Christian focus on it. Remind me, what are the things that make a parody?
Imitate.
Integration.
Well, Okay, word choice. Let's start with that one. Right? Word choice. So you will use words from a fairy tale language, or fable language, right? Okay? So if it's a fable, what kind of words will it have? Animals, right? And once upon a time, maybe. Fairy tales will definitely have once upon a time, right? Things like that, right? What else will a parody have? Yeah, exaggeration, right? Exaggeration, right? To make things bigger, biggest, right? But to make it for humor. Make it for humor, right? Okay? So parody will have this. And then, of course, the word choice for the genre. You guys will be doing a fairy tale or fable, so that'll be your genre. Okay? So, start thinking about a fairy tale or a fable. Find a fairy tale that you want to tell in your own words, or make up your own fairy tale. Or find a fable that you want to retell, or make up your own fairy tale. Again, I'm not telling you which, because I want, well, it's an experiment to see if you will maybe not go to ChatGPT. So, if I don't tell you exactly what you're writing today, you can't exactly prepare for it tonight, right? So, it's an experiment, we'll see. But you will be writing on and doing a parody starting tomorrow. You will have a quiz on Friday on this story. Okay?
Friday.
Yes.
Right.
Tomorrow writing, quiz Friday,
Friday, please.
and tomorrow writing.
Okay.
Alright. Okay, alright. Great job, guys. Thank you very much. Don't bump my table. 그냥